First of all, I'd like to thank Fazecolda. I'd like to thank Mr. Carlos Varela and also Dr. Humberto Botero, our both very good friends. We had Varela in Brazil, I think 1 month ago, in a reinsurance seminar that we organized in Brazil every year. And he delivered a fantastic speech about the Colombian market. We, as Terra Brasil, we are here in Colombia because we think this is our first office abroad. And we think that we have a lot of things to learn here in Colombia. And we are. And this seminar is one of the things that we're learning here now. I can tell you that, and you'll see some figures here, life insurance in Brazil, it's something about 10% of our market. Here in Colombia, you have a figure like 25% of the premium volume comes from life insurance. In terms of reinsurance, you have a fantastic practice, very good people, young people with good practices in reinsurance, in broking, in subscribing, in losses, and we are learning a lot here. And I thank you very much for that. Well, it's also a big pleasure to be here with my colleague and friend, Mr. Luciano Snell, who is the president of Icatu, one company with a fantastic reputation in Brazil. I think was the first company that we had in Brazil driven specifically to life insurance. And it is, I think we'll see some figures here too, the largest independent company in life insurance in Brazil. So thank you very much, Luciano, it's a pleasure being with you here too. We will do this presentation in 2 steps. I am in charge of giving you some figures about the Brazilian market. And I will do this very sadly, showing that life insurance is a very small line of business in Brazil. It is still a very small line of business. I will be followed by Luciano, that will tell us how to solve this problem. So it's his duty to give us some ideas of how to increase the Brazilian penetration in life insurance. So let's first thing, this is the Brazilian market. We have, it seems to be a fantastic market with $120 billion in premium volume. It's a fantastic figure. But if we split this in terms of line of business, like this, you'll see that about 40% of it comes from health. This is private health. Insurance companies and also some other organizations that provide health services to a population of about almost 50 million Brazilians. We are a country with about 200 million, and we have about 50 million with health insurance provided. The second line of business is pension. It's also a huge market. It's a huge line of business. You'll see more deeply in a few minutes. Third one is auto insurance. Auto insurance in Brazil is basically own damage. It's who, it's protecting who. We don't have a compulsory liability freely placed in the market and with competition. So when you talk about these big figures of auto insurance in Brazil, you are talking about own damage. We are not talking about liability. The other PC, other property and casualties, we have a part of them as retail business like homeowners, and the rest of it is commercial and industrial lines. And we have life with about $10 billion in premium. We'll talk a little more deeply about pension and life, these two lines of business. First, talk about pension. It's a big success in Brazil. We have basically two products, but they are basically with the same attractive, which is tax incentives. And we have a lot of people in this line of business. We have about 13 million clients in this that has pension plans in Brazil. I'm talking about private pension plans and facultative, but it's basically a bank product. It's an investment product. They invest to tax incentives, they invest to retirement, they invest to provide education to their children, and they invest to health. Is something that we are developing now, having some retirement plans that you can use to health expenses. And it's basically a no-risk product. It's a no-risk because all the products now in Brazil are with defined contribution. You contribute to the plan all over the years, and when you get to retirement, you have a fund that's the result of your investments. And with this fund, you will have your retirement. For instance, you can have a lump sum if you want to. You can have a retirement with a fixed period, fixed term, for instance, 10 years, 15 years, or it can be a life retirement. So only when you have a life retirement, you have a risk part in this product, an actuarial risk. But before that, when you are in the contribution period, there is no risk. You will retire with the amount of the fund that you formed during all these years. But it's basically a bank product. We'll see some figures ahead. Oh, gracias. Here you see also the difference between individual pension plans and group pension plans. This product is sold individually, normally in the branches of the banks, and you can buy it as a company to your employees. And these are how they split. We have about 10 million as individual buyers, and we have about 3 million in employees, company employees. Basically, to the company, this product is a retention tool. The company provides your employees with this product, and including partially contributed, normally partially contributed by the company, as a retaining tool to his employees. The participation of the company can be cashed by the employee depending on the years that he is in the company. So he can always cash the amount that he personally put, and the amount that the company puts depends on how long have you been in the company. So it's a very good retention tool to the companies. It provides huge reserves to the country, to investments, and is a kind of line that had, in the last 5 years, about 50% of real in hard currency growth. So let's go to life insurance now. These some figures that, part of these figures we have published by our regulation authority, by SUSEP, and partially it's not very easy to obtain, so we have to use some knowledge that we have of the market. But basically, this $10 billion is split in group life, individual term life, credit life, and the other life products. Group life are policies sold to companies, to their employees too. And also is a kind of a retention tool, and it's also normally part of the agreement that your company has with the union that it belongs. So normally in the contract that you have every year with the union, there is some articles and some clauses regarding the life insurance that you should provide to your employees. This is a product that is sold normally by brokers, and basic channel you'll see in a few minutes are brokers, the insurance brokers. Individual term life is basically a bank product, like pension is also basically a bank product. They sell individually to their clients, and it's interesting because if you ask, if you make a research in Brazil asking customers or prospects how they would like to buy their auto policy, they will tell you, well, I want a broker, because the broker protects me against the insurance company. They will help me if I have a loss, if I have a problem. But if you ask him, who would you like to buy your life insurance? The answer normally will be, oh no, I will buy with my bank manager. It's a kind of reciprocity that a person can give to the bank as reciprocity of all the things that the bank does for him. So he keeps the life insurance to buy with brokers. I'm not talking about sophisticated products. It's just term life. You pay monthly, and you are insured. If you stop paying, you are out of the policy. You have no coverage. Very simple products sold to the bank branches. It's a big amount. The third one is, we call here, generally speaking, credit life. You have it when you buy a house, if you buy a refrigerator. Normally, every time you have a credit, they will ask you almost compulsorily that you have to have a life insurance. The fourth, and I think the most sophisticated and one of the most important, and the line of business that we should really develop, and I think Icatu is one of the companies developing products in this area, is what I call here, I don't think very happily, other life products. It shouldn't be other, it should be perhaps the first and most important life products. There are sophisticated, more sophisticated products driven to people that really understand the meaning of life insurance as financial planning. And this is something that is growing now in Brazil with companies driven specifically to this line of business. Here we have, I think it's the last slide, how you see the channels and the carriers, the insurers, from each of this line of business in Brazil. Group life is basically sold through non-bank channels, mainly brokers, and is placed partially in insurers linked to banks, and the biggest part with insurers not linked to banks. These policies are renewed normally every year, and there is a big competition to these companies, to these policies in Brazil. It's a cost. It costs a lot to manage this kind of policies, and every year they compete, and normally they change insurance companies very frequently. The second one is, as I told you, individual term life. The basic channel are the banks, and the carrier are the banks too. It's something that they love, banks love this, and they keep them and do everything they can to continue in this line of business. Credit life is something in between. You have banks, and you have also non-bank selling. You have shoppings, big networks of shops selling. If you buy a refrigerator, some company will be trying to sell you almost compulsorily the life insurance. And other life products are basically non-bank products, much more sophisticated, with the help of financial advisors, and through a little upper classes. And it's basically, banks are not involved. The carriers are basically companies like Icatu. So in the total, we have, in terms of channel, it's completely split 50-50 among bank and non-bank as channel. And about the carrier, we still have something like 60% with insurers linked to banks, and 40% with insurers not linked to banks. Well, this was what I had to tell you, to bring to you here. And it's, as I told you, this is not good. The most part of life insurance in Brazil, in my personal opinion, are not bought with real planning, financial mind. And we are trying to change this. This line of business grew in the last 5 years about 20% in real figures, compared with the 50% of pension. But it grew. It's real grew. 20% in 5 years is a real growth, including with, despite the problems economic problems that we have in our country presently. So, but it should grow much more than that. And I will leave Luciano to tell us how to do this. These are basically just some figures about the players in this market. Pension is basically 100%, almost 100% with banks. Life insurance, 60% with banks. Icatu is the first company, an independent company, with like 5% of the market in Brazil. Okay, thank you very much for you, Luciano.
Bom, primeiramente, Voy a tentar hablar en portuñol. Si no me entienden, griten no más, cambio para inglés. Voy a tentar. Creo que para ganarmos un poco de tiempo, voy a pasar un vídeo de 1 minuto y 20, solamente para dar una contextualización de quién es ICATU, creo que es importante para lo que voy a mostrar después. Si pueden botar el primer vídeo.
A nossa história se cruza com a própria história do mercado segurador no Brasil, que começou lá na década de 30. Desde então, sempre fomos referência no segmento. Foi assim que, em 1991, o grupo ICATU criou a ICATU Seguros, que hoje é a maior seguradora independente do Brasil, em vida, previdência e capitalização. A ICATU Seguros incentiva milhões de pessoas a buscar proteção e a planejar um futuro ativo e seguro, criando novas soluções para cada etapa da sua vida. E sabe por quê? Porque somos especialistas em pessoas. Oferecemos seguros de vida, previdência e capitalização, além de fundos de pensão e gestão de recursos, seja para pessoas ou para empresas. Você encontra a ICATU Seguros em todo o território nacional. Nossos produtos estão disponíveis em diversos parceiros comerciais, bancos, cooperativas de crédito, lojas de varejo, além de vários distribuidores. Temos milhares de corretores credenciados e empresas de diversos setores que utilizam nossos produtos como benefícios para seus funcionários. Conte com a segurança de quem administra e protege o dinheiro de muita gente. Gente que sabe que o futuro começa hoje.
Para dar uma contextualização, primeiramente gostaria de agradecer a oportunidade de estar aqui.
Okay, I'd like to thank Fasicolda for inviting me to address this distinguished audience. Well, I thought of splitting my talk into our mission as a specialized agency, another part to create awareness, particularly among the young people, about the need for insurance. When I go to a university to talk to the youngsters about employment, etc., usually I start talking to them about the news that we read on the newspapers and that are related to the market of insurance, tax rates, violence, macroeconomics. So it's a very dynamic market which should help create awareness among all of us. So what is truly important for us? When we do research among our customers and about their objectives, well, they have health for the family, education for the children, traveling, to own a house, be successful in business, etc. So regardless of the population, usually in low-income classes, people speak about their children, their hopes are always with their children, and they want to invest whatever they can for their children. So what are the challenges? If all this is so important, we should all plan for better protection. This is the reality. 64% of Brazilian people are not able to save. 32% of Brazilian people have debts. The saving rate of families in Brazil accounts only for 4.5% of their gross domestic product, which is very low and well below the figure of other countries. So what are the barriers that we have to overcome in order to create awareness? In Brazil, we have a strong barrier, which is the cultural barrier. They think that the future is not in our hands, but in God's hands. Then there are psychological barriers. We procrastinate. 3, population which is aging, as in other parts of the world. Number 4, behavioral barriers. social influence. 5, economic barriers. Years of inflation. Up to 1994, we had the hyperinflation of 30 and 40% per month. So these two products that Pablo mentioned about pension, for instance, were created in 1998. They are new products, post-inflation times, and it took years for the population to believe in these products. Then number 6, exaggerated use and offer of credit. 7, lack of information. They don't know what the insurance is for. They don't know what the coverage of the insurance they have is. They think that to have an insurance they have to have children, and that is not true because we have different types of coverage. Number 8, difficulties in understanding technical terms used in excess and bureaucracy, red tape in the world of insurance. We have to avoid that. Number 9, misconception about pricing. 10, lack of trust in the institutions that provide insurance. In the meantime, we are the 4th country with the largest number of traffic deaths in the Americas, a rate of 23 deaths per every 100,000 inhabitants. 52% of the victims are young people. So we have to create awareness among this public of young people. More information about Brazil: 700,000 labor jobs labor accidents per year in Brazil, and we have a lot of retirements because of disability. So all these figures should help to create awareness. These figures mean that we have an important social mission to accomplish. Now, when the topic deals with money and future, sometimes it is very hard to make decisions. There is the need for creating awareness. People have to make decisions to protect their families, but sometimes decisions are not made in an immediate manner. Then we have psychological barriers. Sometimes it is hard to believe that we're going to die sooner before what we think. We don't believe we might be disabled one day and be dependent on people to take care of us. And it is difficult to speak about things that are unavoidable, such as state, private or business state. This is a topic that is not mentioned in families in Brazil, because then parents believe that children are thinking about getting their money, and that's why children do not dare to speak about this, about their parents. So we have to create awareness about this also. We have to help educate people financially speaking. And last but not least, we have to understand the mindset of Brazilians. Half of the Brazilians delivered the tax statement last minute on the last day of the deadline to render or submit your tax statement declaration. So we at ICA2 are part of the life insurance market in Brazil. And what are we doing in this regard to create awareness? Well, this is our thought. This is the thought of many people, to income minus consumption equal to the money left for protection and investment. But we have to change this way of thinking. And we should first think of how much we should save every month, every year for planning. And the rest would then be used for consumption. That's our mission. We have to make questions, ask questions to our customers, to our brokers, to our business partners, not only to customers, but also to the brokers, to stakeholders and people involved in life insurance products. have to ask questions because we have to know what they think. So these questions are not easy to make, I know, to ask. We have to be careful in communication so that it will not be offensive to people. For instance, every end of every year, ICA2 tries to deliver mass communication to all our customers and consumers to reiterate messages. So we should speak about this not only once a year. We should revisit these concepts. It's like doing a checkup of health, where we have to do a checkup of information every year, more than once a year, and also a sort of financial check plan. And that's why we use these tools and questions to have a communication with the customers and to help them in analyzing their information and making decisions based upon that. This is a survey made by ICA2 last year. We asked consumers how much did they think that life insurance cost with a given coverage and for each one of the persons. All consumers said 50 to 150% more of the actual insurance. So this is a challenge that we have to overcome. We have to create awareness and tell people that insurance is not as expensive as they think. Sometimes in Brazil, an automobile insurance, which is very popular, has a different cost. And people think if you have a car, then the insurance costs $1,000. And then they compare it against the life insurance company, and then they think that the life insurance company is expensive. So a challenge is to demonstrate how much coverage costs, and sometimes they will find out that the price is lower than they think. And then the surveys also indicates that out of those who have a life insurance, 52% has an insurance that will cover their family expenses for maximum 2 years. 40% of the insured do not know how much is the capital insured, and some do not check the insurance, 50%. And 48% are not aware of coverage. So we have to provide information to the customers so that they make informed decisions, and also provide information so that people will at least once a year check their family reality, their financial reality, their health, job reality, are they employed or not. And in this way they will know also that new coverages exist, other coverages exist that could be useful for them. And also every time they do this checking, they should think of the coverage and revisit it and see if it is worth it for what they're paying. Then reliability of the carriers and reinsurance companies. This is very important. Here we have important aspects: improved risk control, governance of the companies, the structure of governance, which is key for the customers because we are here talking about long-term products. ICA2 has won an innovation prize, which is equivalent to Falsicolda's award. This is the award on the knowledge platform. You can check this in ica2seguros.com.br. And we have a number of videos, video games as well, training courses on financial planning, and a number of tools that we use to provide information and training to underwriters, agents, brokers, and the people in general. So these tools are widely used to provide knowledge. For instance, this is another example. We have a partnership with a Brazilian university, and And then we provide free training courses to consumers. They don't have to pay anything. These courses include a final test to check the knowledge given to the consumers. And these are courses that go from basic courses, from economic courses, up to financial market investment training courses. So with this, we spread knowledge, information, all in partnership with the university. We are trying to multiply the availability of these training courses. This is another course, is another example. This is for retailers' capitalization. The idea is to make the persons understand where are they vis-a-vis the whole journey that they have to go through to reach their goals. Also, awareness workshops to create awareness among people. We hold small seminars as well with 30, 40 people. And in these seminars, we try to create awareness as to the fact that life and time passes very fast. Sometimes we realize that time or life has gone by and we have not started to plan for the future. And we also provide joyful tools and games and exercises to create awareness. We also have products like this. This is for creating awareness about social protection insurance. Another program is this one. Some years ago, we started a campaign, and this is for all Brazilians. If a baby is born during the first 2 hours of the year, then we give a pension plan and a life insurance for the parents of this child that was born within the first 2 hours of every year. And after this, we talk to the parents, and well, we have impacted over 50 million people in 3 years. And this is a way to create awareness, because the parents then realize, well, I never thought of a plan like this, of getting an insurance. So you see, some times of life are key to help creating awareness. In ICA2, we believe that customers should experience the product. So we give this product with coverage, and it's a free product, no cost for the customer, but then this helps spreading the word about coverage and insurance, about insurance for life or for protection. So ICA2 makes the first step, and then the parents will continue saving every month to make contributions. And after 3 years with this campaign, we have had amazing results. Also, physicians, you see, when they have a newborn, they tell the parents, look, ICA2 has a program that you might be interested in. Go and check. This is our customer service center. We have a 100% satisfaction program in place. Recently, we retrained all our officers at the customer service center so that they would have a more personal approach to the customers. In the past, they had to say, Mr. Victor, and the customer would say, don't call me Mr. Victor. But now, the approach is different. They are free to speak to the customer as they wish. It better suits the customer, so they can adapt to the person who is talking to them. And then, once they have built a relationship, then together with the customer, instead of telling the customer, go to the website and find the papers, well, they join the customer in this experience. They go to the site, check the documents, download documents as required, etc. So there has been a change in the customer care strategy. The officers devote more attention and time to the customer, but this has given better results. And also, they have received training on empathy. Depending upon the situation, on the status of the customer, you have to treat the customer as it better fits. And here you see some simulators and applications for your mobile phones. This is to simulate pension plans. The other one is called Target. How much do you need to save by the age of 60, 70, 75 if you are planning to retire at 80 or something like that. Another one also about pension plans. Well, now I would like to share with you a second video. But before we start the video, let me tell you this is a customer who has life insurance coverage from ICA2. And what we're doing to create awareness is not only create awareness among our customers, but among our employees as well. So the customer visited ICA2. He spent the morning with our employees in ICA2, particularly with the back office customers. And the customer shared his experience about buying an ICA2 product with the employees. And our employees were very interested in hearing from this customer the experience he had had, and also learning about the aspects that were positive to the customer from their care and services provided. And the final message is that we have to create awareness among ourselves, among family members and friends, but also among our employees, because they will be multiplying agents that will benefit society. So let's show the video now.
Levanta.
Ok.
Sou Francisco Aurélio, sou de Viçosa do Ceará, tenho 45 anos, sou casado com a Alessandra, tenho 4 filhos maravilhosos, uma família assim fantástica, sou um cara feliz da vida. Eu adquiri o seguro de vida da ICA2 em 2011. Eu não tinha nem um pingo assim de noção no futuro aquilo ali ia ser tão benéfico para mim, né, para minha família. No decorrer desse período, eu fiquei algumas vezes com a situação financeira delicada e às vezes a primeira coisa que eu pensava em cancelar era o seguro. Tentei cancelar 3 vezes e eu era convencido pela assistente lá da ICA2 Seguros que aquilo era benéfico para minha família, era uma coisa que eu não podia deixar em segundo plano. Da última vez que eu tentei cancelar, 2 semanas depois, aconteceu o acidente comigo. Era uma sexta-feira, um dia normal, trabalhei na loja e à noite eu saí para uma reunião e ao voltar da reunião, quando eu paro na porta, me surpreendi assim já pelo estalo, sem saber que eu tinha levado um tiro, já comecei a ficar todo mole, as minhas pernas.
E em seguida o meu filho veio me chamar para dizer que o pai dele estava morrendo. E aí foi que eu fui associar o barulho ao tiro, né?
O medo era de morrer naquela hora, né? E eu lembrava muito dos meus filhos, né? Dos filhos pequenos.
Me assustei um pouco quando eu recebi o diagnóstico, né? De que ele não andaria mais, porque veio um susto em todo mundo, assim, e agora como é que vai ser a vida? Como é que ele vai trabalhar? Como é que a gente vai se sustentar? Nossa intenção era vender tudo, né? Porque sabia que as despesas eram muito grandes.
Foi quando a gente lembrou que a gente tinha feito o seguro.
No hospital mesmo eu comecei a ligar para o seguro.
E ela orientou os processos lá para a gente receber esse dinheiro e o dinheiro foi muito importante naquele momento para resolver as pendências e começar a se planejar dali em diante, né? Se eu não tivesse o seguro, eu ia ter que me dispor da minha casa, né? A qualidade de vida nossa ia mudar muito, né?
Hoje a gente vê a vida bem mais leve do que antes, né?
Quando eu fiz aquele seguro de vida, naquele momento eu não tinha nem assim uma dimensão do que ele seria tão importante para mim, para minha família, naquela hora mais difícil que a gente estava precisando.
In Brazil, we have the concept that we should start by ourselves, in our families, with our friends and relatives. Ask these questions and then multiply them and take them to the market. Thank you very much. I'm open for questions. Thanks, Mr. Luciano. Do we have any questions for Dr. Botti or Dr. Luciano Snell? Well, what is the sales channel that you use for your life insurance? We use a number of channels. We use brokers, banks who do not have an insurer of their own. We use specialists, wealth management companies as well. We use a number of channels, as many as possible. And about underwriting, how do you do it? We have a underwriting product. It works for higher capital levels. And we also have other products based on the personal wealth statements of individuals. The idea is to simplify. This is oriented towards individual life insurance, but is this also for group life? For group life, we have some criteria which are specific to the group, and it also depends on the level of capital involved. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. According to the barriers to overcome that you listed in your presentation, which are the most important ones to overcome in order to have a better penetration of life insurance? I repeat the question. Based upon the barriers to overcome and that you listed, which are the barriers that should be overcome first to achieve a better penetration of life insurance in the market? It's a good question. I don't know if there's a specific one, but I believe that we always think of two moments or big challenges in life. And one thing is creating of awareness, and the other one is contracting. Because sometimes people think that they need insurance for the family children, but they have to have the means to buy. Or sometimes they don't realize they need that. So that's why we deploy campaigns such as the one in the hospital for the newborns, to teach people that there are products that they can have access to for personal accidents, for family protection. So I think creating awareness is great. It's the key tool, creating awareness of the need for an insurance to protect their lives and families. Are there any other questions? There are not. We thank you, Mr. Botti and Mr. Luciano Schnell, for their participation in this seminar. Thank you so much. And thanks to the audience. We appreciate sharing with us the Brazilian experience in selling life insurance as